Hey, good people. Again, it's Free Falcon here with another Shop Titans video. Today we're going to be going over leveling up as fast as possible. So the only real way to level up in Shop Titans is to be selling items inside your shop. So if we look here, we can see where we are on the XP track. Right now I'm 82% of the way through and I need almost a billion XP to get where I am. So let's take a note of where our current XP is. So right now we're at 356,873. We're going to take these bottom numbers here, and we're just going to show an example of what it takes whenever we sell something. So let's just go back over here to the Greaves and sell. And then we'll pop up here and we'll look at our XP again. So now we are at 414,681. And we'll pull out my handy dandy calculator I have on standby. And we'll subtract that. And we come up with 57,808. So we can see that we got a pretty good amount of XP off of that right there. And then as we get up into those higher amounts, into the higher gear, we're going to be getting more XP. So we took note of where we were. Then we'll check out the sale here. We can see we went from 414 up to 867,783. And then we'll subtract that. So 867,783 minus 414,681 equals 453,102. So we can see that the higher level gear definitely puts out a lot more. Now, something to keep in mind, the items actually don't sell for more, or they don't give more XP if they are surcharged or discounted. So if you surcharge an item or you discount the item, you still only get the base XP amount for that item. Something else to keep in mind is that the enchantments themselves actually add to that as well. So let's go up here and we'll kind of see where our XP is on this. So we can see that we are at 898,196. All right. And then we're going to, I normally wait to surcharge these, but we're just going to do this as an example. You can see that the T14 with the enchantments. So now we are at 624,722. All right, and we'll subtract that, and we'll see where those enchantments put us. 24722 minus the 898,196, and that gave us 726,526 XP. So you can see that selling the higher ones with the enchantments really make a big dent into those numbers. Now, when we're looking at the overall amount that we have to sell, it is pretty overwhelming. And it's hard to make money and hit those high numbers all at the same time. So we're just going to quickly close this out. Normally we'd wait and craft those, but I think we're only at like 3 or 4x and probably not worth it at the moment. So now we can see that that is what we got to do. But when we got billions, so when we're hitting less than 1 here, so I mean we're looking at, say this is 1, we're looking at thousands of those top level items to be bridging that gap there. So I guess that kind of begs to wonder, what are we really doing to try to bridge that gap as quick as possible? And there's a few strategies, but either way, you are always going to have to be selling from your shop. So leveling up is going to be time involved. There's just no way around it. You're going to have to put in time sitting here, selling your items directly through the shop. Unfortunately, there's no quick and easy way to get around that. You're just going to have to put in the time selling these items. Now, there's a few different ways to get said items that should be helpful. All right. But I'm just going to queue this up real quick while we're talking. We're just going to buy out a bunch of this and let's get all our crafting queue up and running. All right. So we can be crafting our highest level stuff. I like to just craft whatever I'm missing because I like to work on my book as often as possible. I also keep a couple crafts for resales, but then I also keep my enchantments queuing up. And so you fall into a kind of a difference between trying to make money and XP at the same time. And so there's always going to be ways to optimize either way. So the T12s enchantments are obviously going to give a pretty good amount more XP, but the T9s give the best XP for the money that you're leaving on the table. So let's say if we want to come in here and sell all of these right here, we could sell for 1.2 mil. So that's not too bad. But let's say if we want to come in here and sell these, we're looking at 5.6 mil to buy and put these on. So we're actually going to make a significant amount more money. So where I suggest doing is, while grinding your XP, and this is level dependent. So if you aren't at the level where you can be buying up T9s, then you can go at T7s. They're not too bad either. I think actually cost effective wise, you're a lot of times better at the T7s. So let's look here at T9s, what we can buy. So they seem to be pretty high. And that's what's going to happen during this specific event. We are in the dragon invasion, and people are going to be buying up enchantments like crazy to throw on their stuff in order to up their contribution amounts. So right now is a great time to go through and sell. So I've been crafting up some of my T12s, specifically with this in mind. So now we can sell them at a higher rate than normal. So they're usually gravitating in the 4 to 5 range. But we are going to sell them at the 5 to 6 range, which is a lot better. And you can see we haven't even got all these queued up and we're already making big money. So, but this isn't really helping us towards our XP gain. So let's go in here and look at our 7s. They're probably going to be high too. But if you look, we're still below the 2x mark. So the 2x mark would be 260. Then by the time you add in your double enchantments, bonuses, and your other things, we can even during this event when our enchantments are at an increased price, we can come in here and buy these up and we can be throwing these on for our XP gain. All right. Now going in, also the items tend to be a little higher on the resale. So I think the T9s are good if you're specifically buying the T7s because they still hit that. So we could come in here and buy these Fairfolk bands. They're below the 2x mark. So as long as we are enchanting these, let's see, and they have an infinity for the green. So as long as we have the money to spare and the item slots to spare, we can be coming in here. We can throw on this. We can see we've already double enchanted all these T9s. Now let's come over here. And we can look at these. So we bought them at 200, so 130, so 260. So we're already doubling that money. Let's see, we got 5 of these. Let's go ahead and throw on there. So we can see that we have increased our contributions off of this whenever we are selling these items. So it's just kind of free XP. And additionally, if you're doing it with the surcharge plan, you are going to be raking in money as well. So it is a good combination of money and XP gain at the same time, which is really where we want to be sitting, right? We want to be making a lot of money and we want to be gaining levels. If we are less concerned with money at any time, we can always just throw our money in at T12s, throwing them on high level items, and then selling whether we're surcharging or not, because we can be gaining up all of that XP. So we can see we're almost at a million XP on one T14 that was enchanted. So we would only need about a little over 5,000 of those. So you could probably balance that out and come up with a strategy just to punch all of that out as quickly as possible. All right, let's just queue these up. We'll get this done. I have to wait for my better people to cycle through. I usually don't like running these with yellow, but I really need to dedicate some time to increasing my strength across my board. My guys are just really puny and pathetic, but I just haven't had the time to dedicate to it. And I don't really like to because I feel like there's just always a new best in slot space, right? There's just always a better option that's coming up just around the bend. So I don't want to be dropping a whole lot of time and effort trying to get that optimal one unless I'm in a situation where I just can't run events, which I think I'm getting pretty close to. So I'm just going to have to bite the bullet, spend some time, do the research, and find the most cost effective way to bump my team into a category that they can run everything without a problem. I'm assuming that the old best in slot classes are probably the way to go right now. So just find whatever the old best items were before the new set came and just purchase those out. And that would probably be a good way to go about just getting those items, getting our levels up. So we'll probably dedicate some time into that. Here soon I'll probably do up a video and just chronological my chances of re-rolling and getting all this stuff up. And we're just trying to bump up that as we go. But as you can see, we already got our fair bands, but that is one that's not enchanted. So we won't be doing that. I'm trying to get up to 100 spin tokens so we can go that route. But yeah, so that's that overview. We're going to switch over to a spreadsheet, and I'll kind of show you some of the early, mid, and later game strategies of what to specifically build and what's your best bang for your buck. All right, here we are. So now we are looking at the merchant XP for whenever we are selling. And I do have it broken down by merchant XP for crafting time and value for crafting time and other things. I'll include the link to this in the descriptions. So as you can see, the Aura Storms is the highest amount that you can get off of a single item, with it being unenchanted, and we're getting 570,000 XP per item. So if we go in here, let's open up. Let's look at the item. So Aura Storms. So this is going to be your actual very top level thing that you can be crafting to get XP. All right, and then it goes down from there. So we can come down. It looks like the first one that isn't a purchase one is Axe of the Froth. That's the T14 axe. And we are looking at 335. So that's a pretty big dip. Now, it also depends on the level. So I think let's arrange it here. So looks like the very best ratio of merchant XP for crafting. So if you're looking at simply crafting is the gleaming aura. So if we look, it looks like that is the very bottom of the auras here. So looks like the auras are probably one of your best bet. It looks like it's got the highest merchant as we go. Now the Shiv is what I suggest for very low players. So if you're coming in and you're low level, I would say the Shiv is one of your best items. So you get it early, and you actually get it used to be the highest. Well, it's still tied with the highest crafting XP per item. So you get 125 for selling, and you can craft these just super fast. It takes 10 seconds to craft. So it doesn't really take a whole lot in order to get these up and rolling, and you're getting a pretty good amount of XP. So even from low level, this is going to be your bread and butter. Now, as you go up, what we want to look at is lower levels, right? So let's say when we get to 6, and we're going to avoid the purchase stuff. So let's just say you're getting in, you don't want to spend any money. Now, obviously, as you go, now the chest items are going to be ones that you're going to get unlocked already. So, or that's actually, these are actually, I'm sorry, I was looking at, here we're looking at tiers. So your chest items are going to be good. So if you get your Swift Mitts uncovered, you can see that we're looking at 10.42 for second, which is not too much below the Shivs, and it gives you something else to be filling up. You'll be getting 2,500 XP per cell as you pop up into 4. If you go with the Hauberk, you are right there. Your bow staff, you are not too bad. You're looking at 9.9. The Rancer, right? And then you're looking at amulets and axes and scale armor, spell, gauntlets. So it's pretty even. And then you get into your elements here. So the elements aren't too bad. So they actually have to be on an item in order for you to get this XP. But that's kind of where you're at. So it's not a whole lot of XP per item specifically, maybe, but it does correlate. So if you got both of these on here, so if you're going with your elements on both sides, it adds about another 9,000 onto a low level item, which is pretty good. And you can see that your highest percentages are actually your lowest levels. So, I mean, you have to go down pretty far to even a little hit level 6 here on your crafting, your merchant XP for crafting time. So you're definitely skewed early game. You actually probably have the best percentages of this. Now, when you can get into buying them, that's where you can really start shifting that around a lot as well. So let's look at the levels. So let's say you can buy up to a T9. Let's look where we would be hitting on your best options there. So it looks like you are level 8. If you can be buying the original wand or the Droko here, you're looking at 68,000 XP for a T8. So that is going to be getting your best options. So if we're looking for the Corsair mantles, that's really close. If you can be buying them at a discount at level 10. So it just kind of comes down. You just want to keep an eye on this spreadsheet. And I never started my. So yeah, if you're looking at doing a strategy of trying to get your XP up as quick as possible, you need to be watching those spreadsheets and then keep up with your enchantments to throw onto these items because they do make a big impact on the XP gain. It doesn't seem like a whole lot for one item, but if you're able to enchant most of your items and then surcharge them, you can get into a good rhythm where you are still netting money, but getting XP, your XP uh, compounded quite rapidly. So I still think your best ratios for selling and buying and doing that still tends to be your T9s. They just are really strong. And going through and buying your enchantments to throw on so you can get T9s for your T9 enchantments for your T9 items and throw it on there and you're getting if you also want to try to make sure you are matching the the affinities because that has a big impact. So yeah, you can see that these green ones for these events are going at 10x. And so that's part of your prep that you want to be doing coming into the Dragon Invasion is during this event, these things just go like crazy. So, don't know if that one's really that good, but let's just look at our greens because that's a lot of the items that people are going to be throwing up to do your replacements. So we are going to try to get as much of that 10x money as we can for this event. But that is about all I have for this episode. Thanks for watching, and please like and subscribe. It does have a big impact. Thank you.